Right, we're live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channels. The Sevens has returned, and not just the Sevens, Fiji. They are back in the competition. We've got Crazy and Zed Novmum and also Patty here. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you are all excited to see the Flying Fijians once again in action. One of the last times that we did see a few of those gold medalists were actually in the Tokyo Olympics. They did have a young side in the last competition that they did take part in, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in this game up against Ireland in Pool D. But the first game is taking place at the moment, France versus Japan, and Japan are actually making a little bit of a late fight back with 2.5 minutes left. They are sitting on 12 points to 31 here, and also Felix is going for Fiji in this matchup. But the Fijian lineup that they have decided to go with, it is going to be Talatholo. Then alongside him, it is going to be the number 5, which is Elia Kanakaivata. I will apologize in advance for some of these pronunciations. I may get them a little bit wrong, unfortunately for myself, but I do see that the captain is not actually playing in this game in the starting lineup. Instead, going to be coming off the bench in the later stages. They have also got Tavita Dalgunu, Waisia Knife. It is actually Nathunu. Then from the Ajiri to Wai, he is back in the side, and he's going to be one who is exciting to watch. Ioani Teba, and then it is going to be Rasahu. We're slotting in there as the last man in the starting lineup. Then for Ireland, it will be McNulty, then Jack Kelly, Andrew Smith, Billy Dardis. Then it is also Jordan Conroy. He will be one to watch out for throughout this fixture. Terry Kennedy, and then Hugo Lennox is the last man in that starting lineup. We have got Hey Howdy Ayo. Hope you're all well, says Katie Dixon. We sure are. And it is going to be a very exciting time because these Fijian Sevens is back, and also just the Sevens in general also returning. We have got New Zealand. We have got Samoa. They will both have their games a little bit later on that we are actually covering on the channel. Plus, we will be covering plenty more of the action tomorrow. Currently, France, they have got themselves only 1.5 minutes left of their fixture, and then we will be straight into this game between the Fijians and the Irish. But do let me know your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Do you feel that Fiji will be able to pick up from where they left off around that Tokyo Olympic stage, or with the mixture of the young and the older players in their side, will that be the big difference for them? Currently, we do see the Japanese, they're normally quite feisty at times in terms of the way that they play their rugby. They're able to really fight with passion right to the final whistle. Although it does look like here, maybe there's going to be a try. Yes, France get the try right there. So they've got a couple more minutes left. But for me, I think Jerry Tawai is going to be such a key for the Flying Fijians. And also, it will be Nathunio because of the fact that those two bring a little bit more seniority to the team. Definitely Jerry Tawai has been around for a very long time. And then off the bench, they are actually going to have the captain, which is Vaku. Oh, I can't pronounce his name. I couldn't pronounce it last time, and I still can't pronounce it, unfortunately. I'm going to have to say it very slowly, but it is Vaku Ranabili is the man who they have got as captain. Matana also going to be coming off the bench. Bukayaro, Nadavalu, and then it is also Ratu Rathiri. And also, so I was today years old when I learned that Phil Hughes was savagely murdered by that. I can't even read that one. Was savagely murdered by a cricket ball on live TV. Yeah, not an ideal situation. And I think he was actually the first real, like, I guess you could say, broadcasted cricket death, which sounds pretty brutal, but I think that was actually the case, I think, which was never good in that regard. And I feel bad also for Sean Abbott because he was actually the one who bowled it, and he's still in the Australian side now. And I feel like that's something that he kind of has to live with as well. Like, he just bowled the bouncer that he'd normally bowl, except did end up sconing Phil Hughes there. Currently, there are 30 seconds left in this game. In fact, probably less than that. And also, I'm still in shock. This is not how I thought my cricket college experience was going to go. And there, as I says, Katie Dixon. Okay, number 3. Okay, Japan are getting a yellow card, so that will take a little bit longer. But this game is scheduled to kick off in only 2 minutes' time. And hopefully it will all run to plan because we have also got the game a little bit later on, Argentina versus New Zealand. That will be taking place at 3:06 p.m. New Zealand time. And then alongside that, we have got Samoa versus Australia. That will be our later live stream at 3:45, followed by then 3 games of Super Rugby, 2 games of the URC. And then if there's still some sort of vocal cord left in the box, we're going to be doing the game between Exeter Chiefs and also Munster. And also, gee, that's nasty. How long ago was that? I think it was about, I want to say it feels like it was only like 5 years, but it might have been closer to 10. To be honest, and also, hello, how are you? And there, as well, says Paddy Wagon, that will be the end of the game between the French and the Japanese, though, and France do get themselves their first win. So they are in Pool D alongside Fiji and Ireland. And it is only going to be the top two sides that go through to the quarterfinals. Fiji would love to be one of them. And for them to be able to do so, they will have to beat Japan, and they will also have to beat Ireland. But Ireland are a side that can fire hard. And if Ireland win this matchup here up against Fiji, we might not see the Fijians through to the quarterfinals, which would be a shame, seeing as it is their return to the Seven Circuit. I just learned about acts of God in sports. And there, as I says, it was Katie Dixon, but currently there's quite a bit of support in the Singapore Sevens. Hopefully, we do get to see a bigger crowd start to form for the later stages. There is just one Frenchman that they are showing in attendance. I think they would be allowed crowds for this game, but currently ranked 11th, Fiji. They are going to be taking on Ireland ranked 6th. And that's nice. How's that going? And there's us, is Betty Wagon in that one. It doesn't sound like it's going too well at the moment. She's found the dark side of cricket, I guess. But now the Fijians and the Irish running their way out onto the field, getting ready to go. Like they're mentioning, Ireland, they would love to be able to dethrone the Olympic gold medalist. It was in 2014, and I found out about it by sheer accident while I was watching the 2013 Ashes archived on YouTube. They won, but like I mentioned earlier on, Talatoro in the starting lineup also, it is going to be Kanakaivata, Dalgunu, it is Nathunu. Then alongside that, it will be Jerry Tawai, Teba, and Rasaku. That is the starting lineup for Fiji. Then for the Irish, it is McNulty, Kelly, Smith, Daharis, Conroy, Kennedy, and Lennox as their side. And also, it was Arkinsby. I'm feeling a little blue right now. And there, as I says, Katie Dixon. Currently now a handshake from the captain. I believe that would have been, I want to say it was Billy Dardis, but I still need to learn this Irish side again. I feel like I'm slacking a little bit with some of these names. Like the Samoan names, I've learned I cannot pronounce to save myself. But we're going to be doing a live stream later on, so hopefully we're going to be learning on the job for that one. But nonetheless, this game about to get underway, and cricket is one of those dangerous sports, even though less injuries happen. And there, as I says, Betty Wagon, but now getting ready to kick this one off. It is going to be the number 6, Billy Dardis. About to get us underway. And what's the score for Fiji, says Felix? Just about to kick off. So now, once we do see any tries or anything like that, we will keep you guys informed, and that will be popping up at the bottom of the screen for you guys to be able to see as well. And I guess the game would have stopped, like you can't exactly keep playing, would have been a shock for the players. Yeah, it was a bit rough. I think they actually, I don't know whether or not play was abandoned, because at the time he was just knocked out. So they put him on the stretcher. And it's going to be the penalty straight away for the Fiji side. Yeah, I almost called them the Fiji and draw. They are actually playing later on up against the Brumbies for Super Rugby Pacific on the halfway line now for Fiji. Joining up Nathaniel. Passes out the back line. I'm looking forward to seeing Jerry Tawai with the ball in hand. And also should mention that they have got themselves Ioane Timber, who is a brilliant player. It's a penalty there to Ireland, though, on the breakdown. And yeah, apparently there's been only been 100 cases of the injuries of what Hughes died from. Only one of those 100 was caused by the cricket ball. And there, as says Katie Dixon. Currently now it's another penalty in favour of the Irish, and Dardis will be kicking this one for the touchline. The thing with Ireland here is they need to start quick, because Fiji, yes, they've been playing last week in a little competition, a mini competition with New Zealand and Australia, but these guys are back on the, like, kind of the big 7 circuit, I guess you could say. So because of that, they do need to make sure that they start well, and that's why Ireland need to put them under pressure and stop them from being able to build that ability. But Dardis now with the line-out throw goes over the top. It's a little bit of a rough throw. It's going to be picked up nicely by the Fijians. Now it is Nathunu. Goes back across, trying to get this back line going. It will be Talatoro now on this near side. 40 metres out from their line, and it's another penalty. He's just get to only 3 days away from his 26th birthday. And there's Katie Dixon. And currently now, it's going to be passed across. It will be in the hands. I'm going to have to relearn some of these names. It is Kanakaivata who has got that one. And go Ireland, says Katie Dixon. AQ lads, I'm working on 3 live streams today. Two more maybe. It's going to be a little knock on from Fiji on the ground there. And because of it, it does mean that it is going to be the penalty, or not the penalty, sorry, the scrum feed. But it was Wasahu with just a little bit of a mishandling in that situation. 45 metres out from the Fijian line. Ireland will now have themselves a scrum. It was a little bit of a rough pass, and good way start. The live streams we're talking about dark stuff. And as I says, Betty Wagon, although we got about, I think, 15 hours of live stream, so there's probably going to be a few topics that we pump through throughout all of these ones. So let's go the Irish. Says Betty there, and go Ireland, says Katie Dixon. Now Dardis has it out the back. Nice bit of a step here. I'm looking out for Jordan Conroy in this game, as he is going to be one of the keys for the Irish. He's going to be marking up alongside, I think he's actually up against maybe Jerry Tawai for this game. Could end up being interesting for it. But currently now, Ireland have still got this ball. They have to clearly release him. And now on the halfway line, Dardis once again trying to set up the men on his outside. Nice step on the inside here from Kennedy. And now it's another penalty to Ireland for not rolling away. And unfortunately for him, I think Talatholo just got stuck underneath the breakdown. I think he might have done an ankle here. In fact, it will be Ioane Tebe. He's actually a long way off his wing out on that side. And also, I wouldn't be the first. And as I have like 30% of Irish in me. As I says Paddy Wagon. It was a good tackle in the end from Ioane Tebe, but then unfortunately just unable to get out of that breakdown. And how much you do in Rugby Sevens? We have got 3 Rugby Sevens live streams today, 3 Super Rugby, 2 URC, and then a Champions Cup. So not too bad overall, but then we're doing the Sevens pretty much all of tomorrow while I am awake after recovering from the big night of talking. But yeah, I don't know how the voice is going to go by the later stages. I might just end up literally having to do sign language to tell you guys exactly what's going on. But currently, Ireland doing pretty well in this matchup up against the Fijians. 3 minutes 30 left. It looks like there's a little bit of an injury here for Kennedy. And the last thing you want is early injuries. We saw it was Soyuz Wapi in one of the recent competitions. Unfortunately, the South African captain ended up with his injury extremely early on in the competition. And not only does that take away your experience, but also takes away one of the players that you can use. And you don't really have that many of them. Normally squads of 13 to 14. Oh, a little bit rough in the line out, but it sits up nicely for Ireland. And now trying to use their back line. It's looking all right, although it has gone just behind the man. Kennedy now has to regather it from 40 metres out from the Fijian line. Once again, another pass crossways. Spin out of the tackle from Andrew Smith. It's a little knock on. In fact, it's going to be stolen. No, it's not. It's a penalty in favour of the Irish. Now, Fiji need to be careful here because they could get themselves penalised all the way to the bin if they're not careful. I know that line out was a bit sloppy. And there's us, Katie Dixon. Yeah, not the best one. In fact, we've had a couple so far throughout this match that haven't quite looked the way that they would like them to be. But Data's getting put under a huge amount of pressure in every breakdown that they've got. Right, what are the Irish doing? They take the tap here. And now Billy Dardis trying to link up with the men on the outside. They've got a 2-on-1 overlap here. If they can get it right, he's trying to pass it. Kennedy gives it off to Conroy. Wrestled down nicely, though, by Teba. And that was brilliantly marked up by the Fijians. Continuing to try and go across field. Smith with the step. Gets back up to his feet, goes again. Still 15 metres out now, going to the short side for Kennedy. The passing game from Ireland's getting just a little bit rough. At times, we've seen a lot of bounce passes and also passes behind the man. You just lose all momentum going forward. Still available here for the Irish. Now looking to the short side, I believe that would have been Jack Kelly at number 1 for this game. Now passing it back across inside ball. Good run forward from McNulty. Still available here. Go Fiji from the USA. Says Parash as well. What time is it in the USA where you are at the moment? Do let me know. Jordan Conroy going around the outside. Ireland score the first try of the match, and that is a brilliant start from the Irish. We haven't seen Fiji on attack as of yet with only a minute and a half left. At least Peacock has actually shown the rugby in a rugby slot. And earlier, they had curling on the rugby slot, and I had a meltdown that I was going to miss Leinster. Was the curling any good, though? Because I do enjoy a bit of curling. Actually doing it, though, not really watching it. Hamish, I'm excited. A lot of rugby today. Fiji back in the sevens. New Zealand back in the sevens. Samoa back in the sevens. And then 3 games of Super Rugby 2 of the URC. And then the Champions Cup at the end. So, okay, Jordan Conroy doing a little bit of a jig. Yeah, by the looks of it, it's a good drop kick attempt. And that one has gone straight over. So now the score's 7-0 in favour of the Irish. And that is definitely something that they will be looking forward to trying to, I guess, extend. And also 7:30 p.m. says Parash there as well. And also we have got the Irish flags. I mean, the curling wasn't terrible. It was just awesome rugby in there as well. But currently now the ball available for Ireland once again going to the short side. Fiji are under pressure here. That's going to be a little knock on from Ed Kennedy on the top side. And he's actually complaining with the pass. I mean, you threw a rough one before it. I don't think you complain about everyone else's. We have got the ARDA, brother. Hope you're well. And hey, guys, let's go. Kiwis back in the sevens. Go the lads. And yeah, we are actually going to be covering their first game. And that will be at about 3:05, I believe it will be on the channel. So be sure to check that out if you guys are keen on that one. But also, we were there, curling says, cracking down under. I mean, it's not exactly the most exhilarating at times, but it's got the the things. What are they called? The stones, aren't they? That you got to slide down. It's quite fun trying to recreate that, except you just end up slipping over when you try and do it in real life. Now passing across, that is actually the halftime siren, but the Fijians, they've got their first real attacking opportunity of the day. Now down the wing, it's going to be that big number 11 for this one, Rasaku. Not able to go straight through. It's a penalty there to Fiji. Living the dream, mate. Hope all as well. I hope you're well. Says tracking down under now on the halfway line. Step from Jerry to Y. Now it will be in the hands of the big man. Oh, he's dropped it. He's put it down to Latholo. And now Ireland have got themselves the penalty advantage. In fact, it's a knock-on advantage. It looks like they want to go for one last attack here and see whether or not they can get themselves the try just before halftime. Conroy with the step lined up pretty well. Still going to be available for them. Ed Kennedy. Pass it back across. They're actually back on their own 22 here, Ireland. They need to make sure that they don't go too far back or else it's a counter opportunity for the Fijians. Now Andrew Smith trying to make his way forward. I believe the advantage is over at this stage. Doing the sweeping is the best part. And there as well, yeah, it's good practice for a bit of housework now. Little flick from Kelly, or Kennedy, in fact it was. Now Dardis is there, waiting for the link up, just couldn't quite find it, but now good attack and play from the Irish here. And it's open up, and Conroy is going to go in for the second try for the Irish, and this could be the nail in the coffin of the Fijians. We'll have to wait for the second half, but that is a brilliant try for Ireland right at the end. And doing the sweeping is the best part. And there, and also we've got, hey, Katie has the weather over there today. And there as well, but that is going to be the try for Jordan Conroy. Not what we were expecting, but we knew that Ireland were always going to be a tough fight for the Fijians in this game. I believe going into this match, Fiji were actually $1.10 favourites, and Ireland were actually $5.50 underdogs. So it's a huge result currently for Ireland being up 14-0 going into the second half. And also I learned about Phil Hughes today, trying to teach myself about cricket. So I'm a little blue, happy to be watching the rugby now. And also we have got the as a 10 minutes per half now, not only the 7, but they were going a little bit of extra time. But that is going to be the first try for Jordan Conroy. In fact, sorry, the second try of the match for him. He's currently doing very nicely. But the big question is the second half going to go the same way as it has for the first for the Irish here? Currently 14-0 up over the Flying Fijians, not the result that they would have been after for their first half of rugby back in the 7th circuit. As I was like 86% humidity in Singapore. Ooh. See, that's pretty rough, isn't it? Like, you don't really want anything more than like 20. 20 is enough, really, overall. And also, they are actually talking to the captain of the French side here at the moment. Reva is just saying it's extremely hot, is the way that he said it. And also, yeah, Phil Hughes was a shock. And I thought, so, Hamish, who's the Kiwis playing at 305, Hamish, mate? They are playing Argentina. So that's going to be a tricky game. They're going to be up against Raval, Marcos Maneta. I believe Luciano Gonzalez is also there. And that's going to be a tough game for the Kiwis to return. We could see a similar result possibly to this game. That's with the return of welcome back to the 7th circuit, have a loss. But at the end of the day, they've still got a second half here, Fiji, and they just need their hands on the ball a little bit more. I would argue that they probably had about, I want to say 30%, if not less, of the possession in that first half. And Ireland has been really good so far, yet unsurprisingly, that Fiji is a little rusty coming back from exile as well. Yeah, they've been away for a little while. Yes, they did play in a couple warm-up competitions with the Kiwis and the Australians, but that wasn't as the Fiji side. That was as like kind of different regions of Fiji. So it was always going to be tricky refinding that chemistry. And once they do get that chemistry, though, you just see all sorts of offloads, little extra magical moments from the Fijians. And also we have got there, that would be hell. And there says Betty, and also we have got there. It's crazy because I just got invested in the 2013 Ashes on YouTube. I watched the Ashton Agar debut pairing with Hughes. I was like, these guys are something special. And there's says Katie Dixon, and also we will win easily. Says Betty Wagon for that one. And then reality roundhouse kicked me in the face. Of course, a roundhouse to the face is no fun at all. Normally, unless you got like a real strong jaw, which I do not. My jaw, I could probably tap it and it would probably get dislodged. I mean, you guys heard it last night, just cracked. I don't know why. I don't know what I did. I think I moved my mouth in the wrong way. That's going to be a knock-on advantage for Fiji here off the kickoff. It's a little mistake from the Irish. Just didn't quite get onto it. Therefore, it was actually Harry McNulty. I believe a few subs will be made relatively soon. They've still got their captain. It is Vakur. Oh, I can't say his name. Vakuranabili is the name. And what an awesome day for rugby today. Just looked at the schedule. Too bad I feel sick. Not COVID yet. And there, as I said, it's like, yeah, there's so much now. It's going to be an opportunity. That will be the first try of the sevens for the Fijians. And that was a quick one as well. And a quick individual. It is actually a Naruvalu off the bench and has now been able to score the try for the Flying Fijians. And also, everybody is stuffed playing rugby each year. And there, as I said, Betty. But yeah, that's the thing. We've got ourselves, what do we got? We have got the sevens. We've got 3 games of Super Rugby, 2 games of the South African URC. That one's missed away to the side for Fiji, so unsuccessful conversion. And then also we've got a game of the Champions Cup if we're really keen to kind of completely destroy our vocal cords, which we might be, because like I feel like once you get on that rugby train, you just can't get off. You know, it's going to be a rugby marathon. What's a good summary? A rugby-a-thon? No, not quite. No, we'll come up with a good word for it. The rugby onslaught. No, not the rugby onslaught. What do we call it the other time? The rugby gauntlet. That's a good run from Fiji. That's going to be another try. This game's changing a little bit here. Well, and at this time, it is Talatholo, Josefa Talatholo, who does get it. And also Vakuru Nabili. I just having you with pronunciation. There's Sammy Sosa. Yeah, for some reason, I think I look at his name and my brain just stops working. Like I try and work out exactly what it says. So it's Vakuru. I think it's that Kuru part. Vakuru Nabili. Right. Well, I hope for the best. And also Fiji says Tesla, and that one has gone over. So now the score is going to be 12 points to 14. That's how quickly the Flying Fijians can change a game. They've come out in the second half, had a little bit more possession, and Ireland no longer have a 14-0 lead. Now it's only a 2-point buffer for the Irish. They just need their hands on the ball. This game, at the moment, the momentum is shifting, and the Fijians are firing back, but Ireland taking that one very nicely close to the touchline, the foot almost in touch. But it is still going to be available here. E. Kennedy now first receiver going through almost. No, it wasn't quite able to pierce the gap. In fact, it was actually Gavin Mullen who did make his way onto the field now. On the outside, Andrew Smith. He's been pretty good throughout this game. Kind of reminds me of a Jermaine Schultz of the Argentine side, but that is actually going to be now a knock-on from Ireland, then a knock-on from Fiji. That's Fiji all right, and Fiji is coming, and come on the Irish as well. But like I mentioned, Fiji, literally you give them half an inch and they're gone. That's why you give them any chance of having the ball. Like the first half, we saw it all be in the way of the Irish. They were able to get themselves 2 tries, both converted. Second half started. First couple minutes, Fiji go bang, bang, and we are back into a level playing field almost for the later stages of this match. But I think the big sub for me is going to be the captain for Vakuru Nabili. Closer, get in there. Slowly, come on the Irish. And there says Betty, and also I ain't a Fiji game. Well, it ain't a Fiji game until Finley Christie runs into someone's elbow at 600 miles per hour. I feel like he's going to be remembered for that moment, isn't he, Finley Christie? That's gone through the hands of Fiji, a little bit loose there at the back, and now a huge amount of pressure on the try scorer, Rasaku. Still available here. Passes the ball back across. 5 meters out. That was a little bit too high from the Irish, though. And Fiji, even though they're 5 meters out from their line, I would think they'll take the quick tap. Yes, they do. That's the thing. They could kick him for touch, but they're like, nah, never mind. Now it's a kick him behind. It's a foot race here, and the Irish unable to pick it up nicely. Now firing it out their back line, still available for Fiji. 50 meters out. It's the offload. It's a knock-on, though, on the halfway line. I will never, ever let him live that down, says Katie Dixon. Well, that one. Currently now it will be the scrum feed for the Irish. 3 minutes left in this half, and handling error is 3-3. So both sides a little bit rusty in their first 7 tournament back. But now the captain is making his way out onto the field. Just going to be a massive sub to have in the later stages. And Finley Christie reading this chat right now, punch of the year. And there says Tesla. Yeah. But it was such a kind of, it was almost a comedic moment. How he was just lying on the ground going, ow, that hurt. And everyone's going, you ran into him. This was literally your fault. Like, you could have gone around him. And I don't even think he got a penalty for it in the end, did he? So he just got booed by everyone, and he was on New Zealand soil. Currently now 45 metres out from their own line knock-on from Ireland, and that was not a good one. And unfortunately, Mullen, like they're saying, the humidity makes their ball a little bit slippery. You got sweaty palms. And that is something that is going to be very tricky. Ireland have never defeated Fiji in the HSBC Sevens World Series or something that's just popped up, and they have currently got a lead with 2.5 minutes left, although the Irish, they will now have to defend against Fiji from the halfway line as they are going to have the scrum feed. Okay, a few more subs being made here by the looks of it. Okay, 4 is going off, and I believe that is going to be now Awanusi. Does make his way out there, but the men's 7 standings currently, Fiji are sitting in 11th. Of course, they have not played anywhere near as many games as a lot of these other sides. New Zealand, we're not even on there. Samoa have got 1 point. Nicely done. So we are actually, I guess we're 19th, aren't we, the Kiwis, this stage? But you can always go up from there, I guess. And who are you fighting in there? As he's Kiwis, and also I'm looking forward to this game. Now around the side, Jerry Tawai, the experienced veteran. That's forward by half a metre. Unfortunately, if not more than that. And now it is going to be the line out. Well, in fact, sorry, the scrum feed for the Irish. Jerry Tawai is just trying to find that pass on the outside. If it found the hands, would have been huge for them, but it just ends up going wrong slightly for the Flying Fijians. Right. Okay. Jerry Tawai actually getting taken off the field now. That is a big change to make. And also, looking forward to this game, says Brandon. It's going to be an exciting one. Also, Argentina versus New Zealand just around the corner. We are going to be covering it on the channel, so be sure to stick around for that game. And then after that, we've got Australia, Samoa, followed by 3 games of Super Rugby. 3 in a row. Then 2 URC. Every time I say it, I just realize how long of a night this is going to be, but we're only here in the afternoon, early stages for this one. Now pass back across here, McNulty slinging a nice wide ball here for the Irish. Now it is the big man off the bench. It is going to be Awanusi. Nice ball on the inside to Jordan Conroy, getting isolated though by the Fijians. It's a tackle, so they do have to release him. 1 minute left in this game for the Irish. Can they make history and beat Fiji for the first time in the HSBC Sevens tournament? Currently just looking for the gap. It was Ed Kennedy. Now nice little overlap here down the wing. It is going to be their number 11 for this game, which I believe is Gavin Mullen. Yes, it is. And let's go Irish. Let's go Irish. And there's why they've got 45 seconds left. They're currently on their 22. So continue to try and build forward. If they get themselves a penalty at some stage soon, that would possibly help them close out the game. But for now, they are just passing it back across their back line, using up as much time as they can. Now wide cut-out pass. He's down by the wing. And now wrestled down here. Still Mullen holding on to this one. 25 seconds down. Or 25 to go here for Fiji. If they don't win this game, it's going to be Kennedy. He's going through. He's got pace, and the Irish are going to do it. They are going to have their first ever victory in the HSBC Sevens against the Fijians. And that is a try to the Irish there. And that is going to be history-making match for the Irish. You can't even do sentences anymore. And also try. Says Katie, and also we got their Rugby Saturday Hurricanes today. Yes, they are indeed playing the Crusaders, and Kennedy here celebrating that one. Ireland, they are going to win this game more than likely by 9 points up against Fiji, which is a massive win for them. But you'd have to argue Fiji, they have still got a chance of being able to make their way through. It's all down to whether or not they are able to beat France and also able to beat Japan, and the Irish get a famous victory over Fiji in the sevens. And SS Semi-Sosa, they sure do. And also we've got the Hamish Chelsea Day been pretty good, other than the fact that my voice is already almost disappearing and we're at the first of many. Jordan Conway still having a bit of a dance, or in fact, there was Jordan Conroy, sorry, and also try, let's go. And there as well, says Brandon for that one, and also try, and also Fiji still got cobwebs here. It will take a little bit of time for the Flying Fijians to really find that momentum. I would say by about maybe the 3rd or so game of this group stage, they'll start to really click. There were a lot of handling errors, getting used to the humidity as well. 86%, I believe someone said earlier on. I think that was Novmum. So when you're sitting at 36 or 86% humidity, it's always going to be tough. But they will have to beat France, and they will have to beat, also alongside that, they will have to beat Japan quite comfortably. And if France beat Ireland, there's still a chance that the Fijians make it through to the quarterfinals. But it's going to be tough for them from here on out. But currently, New Zealand versus Argentina, that will be the next game that we do cover on the channel. So be sure to stick around for that. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. We will be back in about, I think it is 15 or so minutes time for that next game, and time for that Leon Honey Hamish, the Kiwi lads. Yeah, I think it is. I think the voice is struggling big time today, and Fiji technically still in it for the Cup comp though. Exactly right. As long as they do go decently in their next couple of games, they will still be right up there for the Flying Fijians. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. Be sure to tune in for our next live stream between New Zealand, and they are going to be taking on Argentina. But thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for